What is going on, guys? Bottom is 4G. So today I wanted to make a video going over the movement when it comes to Fortnite OG, because for the entirety of season 1 I kind of just brushed it off because I just accepted that they probably wouldn't change it. But recently they did change a couple more things. For an example, the scar was actually reverted back to the chapter 1 scar as it should have been from the beginning, but you know, maybe things just take a little bit more time. I don't exactly know how it works over there behind the scenes, but regardless, the point is I think that they could still do something about this movement, because the movement animations, all right, we got to make it very clear what we're talking about here. I'm sure some people would like this, but I don't think this would be better for the game overall, and it wouldn't work for zero build at all. So I'm not talking about completely removing the extra sprint, the sliding, mantling. I mean, maybe. I don't think I would truly be against that, to be completely honest, as long as it stays in the OG mode, because every other mode would benefit from having those features. But I think with an OG mode, it would make it more authentic. Now, another reason I wouldn't actually mind them bringing back the original movement without the mantling, without the sliding and all of that stuff, is because of the fact it would make the mode more authentic, which is kind of the whole point of the OG mode. You want it to be as authentic as possible. If I wanted all of this new movement, I would go play any other mode that Fortnite has to offer. This is supposed to be the OG mode, and I think it should be that in the sense of it should be as authentic as possible. Even if it means things like removing turbo build, which I don't think that would really help that much for being real, especially because it would just be removing it for the duration of season 1 and 2, because starting in season 3, that's when we had turbo build. But if removing something like that would make it more authentic, I would be all for it. But also just the fact that the map itself was not designed around this. It just was not. It was designed around a much slower style of movement. So while I don't know the statistics or whatever of how that plays out and how that affects a mode, especially because there's bots in the main mode, and that does already make it a slower paced game, because you're going to be running around for 20 minutes because there's only 20 actual people in the lobby. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but there's very little people in comparison to how many bots are in the lobby, and that slows down because the bots only spawn in periodically over time, and they don't always spawn in for you. Sometimes they spawn in for a bunch of other people, and you know, it's just, they're not gonna get rid of that. That's something that they should also remove, for being completely real, but they're not going to get rid of that, so you have to play ranked. But the point is, I think it does change up how the game actually plays. Getting to the circle affects the game, and again, you just want to keep it authentic. That type of thing would have to go back to how it was. I'm not entirely against the idea of going back to the original movement. I would not be totally against it, but that is not really what I'm talking about here necessarily. I'm talking about the movement animations, okay? The chapter 4 animations were literally just the original chapter 1 animations, but with the extra sprint, the sliding, mantling, etc., right? So that's what it needs to be. I don't exactly know why they want to unify it so badly when not everything is unified anyways. There's already inconsistencies when it comes to the different movement between modes. For an example, when you go to chapter 6, you could wall jump, you can do like a boost jump off the edge of a rooftop. You can't do that in OG. That is not how it works whatsoever. So I don't understand why the movement itself, the actual animations and mechanics, have to stay the exact same between the modes when they're not even 100% the same to begin with. I could understand if the whole idea behind it is that you want to keep it unified between the different game modes, but I don't think it would be really that big of a deal. I really don't think so. I don't think it would be a negative. If anything, the animation itself is no different than changing up the model for the scar or changing up the model for the pump. This is literally just a cosmetic change that would make the OG mode so much better. I know this might seem like nitpicking, I guess you could say it is, but the whole time you're playing the game, unless you're like Myth and you sit in a tower 24/7.
The global leaderboard in this game is a joke. It's just wins. It's all just wins. So if I want to sit on my ass all day and get 1 kill a game and camp in a tower, oh, excuse me, sorry, what the was that? Like, you're gonna be on the top of that global leaderboard. Oh my God, sorry.
The OG days right there, then you're going to be moving around quite a bit, okay? So that movement animation matters a lot more than most people would probably give it credit for, all right? It matters a lot. Now, maybe it doesn't matter to you. I gotta say, that's fantastic. I wish it didn't bother me. I mean, since chapter 6, it has not bothered me as much. I don't know if they changed something a tiny bit and it just made it a little bit better, but either way, when I go back and forth between what season OG looked like, where the actual animations looked like someone was actually sprinting, and it felt more OG, it felt felt like what an OG mode would be like in a modern Fortnite chapter, where it has the extra sprint, has all that, but it still retains the exact same original movement animations. I think that needs to come back. I really do think so. I believe that that is a big thing when it comes to the OG mode. If you're not going to do it 100% right, people won't stick around with that. And I think that is a problem, if we're being real. We got to have people playing the game, playing the mode. Otherwise, Epic might not keep this game mode around. I mean, maybe it's not even that hard for them to do. I don't exactly know. I don't know how much work goes into this behind the scenes is what I'm trying to say. Maybe it takes a lot more to port it from the old Unreal Engine 4 version of the game to the current Unreal Engine 5 version. I don't exactly know. Maybe it's literally just a copy paste. I'd imagine it's not just a copy and paste, but you never know. Point is, though, the movement itself is a big factor of the game, and I'm not sure why they changed it to begin with. I will never understand that personally, but if you want to change it for Chapter 6, I think that's fine, but I really don't like the fact that that trickled into Save the World and into the OG mode. These two modes should not have this particular kind of movement. I'd even say Reload shouldn't have that kind of movement, but you know what? It's technically a newer game mode, so I guess that's not exactly the same thing. It's just a newer game mode with OG graphics, or it's not 100% OG graphics in terms of the art, but the actual assets themselves are made with the original Chapter 1 / Save the World assets, which look fantastic in my personal opinion. I think another thing we should be seeing as well, I'll admit I didn't think this was a big deal at first, but looking back on it, I can't remember the actual name of the creative map, but there was a creative map where it was pretty much the OG mode. They swap between different seasons every now and again. I don't exactly remember, but what I do remember is that the HUD itself matters a lot more than I thought. It really does make it feel a lot more OG. I think another thing, not just the HUD, because of course the HUD is literally just slightly different and they moved it into the center. Not only that though, the ammo count goes above the health bar, which I don't even remember. It's been that long. I didn't even remember it doing that. I got so used to the new HUD, and I don't even mind the new HUD necessarily. I actually think in certain aspects it does look better. Like for an example, you already can barely see anything in this game, and your character's shoes, for an example, that they're charging for don't even show up. You can't even see them. So moving this bar actually lets you see a little bit more of your character, and I feel like that was kind of the intent. I don't know why else they would move the health off to the side. I mean, I guess maybe it just looks better. It hasn't been like that since Chapter 1, but honestly, yeah, I will say I think that is probably the reason they are not doing the OG HUD, because it seems like a very easy thing to do. How hard could it be to move the HUD from the left side of the screen, or rather the health bar, not the entirety of the HUD, and then move it to the center of the screen? If people who make creative maps can do it, I believe Epic Games could possibly do it, but they're choosing not to for a particular reason. Either they just haven't gotten around to it, kind of like how the OG Scar came out in Season 2, but they didn't have the OG Scar in Season 1 for whatever reason. Again, yeah, maybe that's just because they didn't have it ready yet. I don't know. They didn't get to that point where they reverted it for this particular mode. Kind of crazy that the OG mode has the OG Scar, but not Save the World, where Save the World is the true OG mode. Man, how things change. But another thing when it comes to the OG mode is people are saying that the art style isn't 100% the way it used to be, and to an extent, I agree. Now, I think it is close enough for me to be happy personally, but I think if you want to make this mode absolutely one-to-one with Chapter 1, which I believe you should, that's kind of the goal of an OG mode. You're saying that these original seasons are back, but yet you're not going all the way to make it feel 100% authentic. I just want to see the original art style, because I mean, look at this right here. I know it's not Season 3. It is not Season 3 yet, so we'll have to see if it actually looks like this once Season 3 rolls around. But seeing the meteor in the sky, just seeing this look of the sky in the game is just absolutely amazing. It just throws me right back to around April or May of 2018. I think, yeah, April in particular, because May is when Season 4 dropped. But man, it was a good time. Just spring was in the air. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling. The weather was getting warmer. It just threw me right back to that time. And the art style had a big play in that. Every single season, they change up the art style a little bit when it comes to Fortnite seasons, especially back in Chapter 1. I think the best one was probably Season 5. That's another reason why I really like that season. I think the art style was absolutely fantastic. Something about it, I guess because it was screaming summer vibes, I guess. I don't know, something about it felt super clean. So once we get to Season 5, I really do hope that they actually put in the effort to make it look exactly the same. Because again, there are creative maps that can do it. Some people make the excuse that it's because the engine is different. That's not how it works, okay? We're talking about lighting and art style. I'm sure some things could change, but we're talking also about Epic Games. They created the engine. You're telling me they can't make it one-to-one 100% if they really wanted to? I just disagree. I just cannot believe that that is the case. I think that they could. It's just, maybe it's not effort that they're willing to put in. Maybe it takes a lot of effort in order to achieve. I don't exactly know. Maybe not. Maybe the people that they have doing it just aren't aware of what's going on. It's just a mistake. Like they're attempting to make it one-to-one, but they're not actually able to do so, which is another reason why people should make these videos, because then you're voicing your concern about this particular topic. As long as you say it, you know, in a respectful way, of course. You don't want to be that kind of person. But anyways, I just want to see Fortnite OG become as accurate as it possibly can be, and something like this is definitely necessary. And these things I talked about in this video are definitely necessary for that to happen. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you like to see the original movement, the original HUD, and possibly even the true original art style / graphics? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Now, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.